This is the story of Kofi, the richest businessman in Burkina Faso, and President Ibrahim Traoré, a leader who is loved by his people. This story will show you that money cannot buy respect, and pride can bring a man down. Listen carefully, because this story is full of surprises and lessons. Kofi was born in a small, dusty village where the sun was hot and the land was dry. His father worked in the fields, growing millet and corn. His mother sold vegetables and peanuts in the market. Every day, Kofi watched his parents work from sunrise to sunset, but they never had enough money. Sometimes, there was not enough food. Sometimes, Kofi went to bed hungry. He hated being poor. He hated seeing his mother cry when she could not pay for medicine. He promised himself, "One day, I will be rich. I will never be poor again." He dreamed of big cities, tall buildings, and shiny cars. When Kofi turned 16, he left his village. He walked for 2 days to reach the city of Ouagadougou. He had only a small bag and a few coins. The city was loud and busy. Kofi was scared, but he was also excited. He found work quickly. He sold cold water on the street. He carried heavy bags for travelers at the bus station. He cleaned the market at night. He worked hard and saved every coin. He slept in a small room with 3 other boys. He ate simple food, rice and beans, sometimes just bread. But Kofi did not complain. He watched the big traders in the market. He listened to their deals. He learned how to talk to people, how to bargain, how to spot a good deal. After 2 years, Kofi saved enough money to rent a small stall in the market. He sold rice, beans, and cooking oil. He was always polite to his customers. He remembered their names. He gave small gifts to children. People liked him. His stall became popular. Soon, he opened a second stall, then a third. He started selling clothes, shoes, and even mobile phones. He hired workers from his village. He paid them well and treated them like family. Kofi's business grew fast. He bought a small truck to bring goods from other cities. He learned how to import goods from Ghana and Togo. He made friends with drivers, police officers, and customs agents. He always found a way to solve problems. Kofi's life changed quickly. He moved into a bigger house. He bought a used car. He sent money to his parents every month. He paid for his younger sister to go to school. People in his village started calling him Kofi the Lucky. But Kofi knew it was not luck. It was hard work and smart thinking. He kept working harder. He opened a supermarket. He started a taxi company. He bought land and built houses to rent. He became one of the richest men in the city. He wore nice clothes and gold watches. He ate at the best restaurants. He traveled to other countries for business. People came to him for help. Some wanted jobs. Others wanted loans. Kofi helped many people, but he also started to feel proud. He began to think that money could buy anything, even respect. At the same time, Burkina Faso had a new president. His name was Ibrahim Traoré. He was young, but he was wise. He did not come from a rich family. He grew up in a small town, just like Kofi. But President Traoré was different. He cared about the people. He visited villages and listened to their problems. He helped build schools and hospitals. He made sure everyone was treated fairly. The people loved him because he was humble and honest. He did not care about fancy clothes or big cars. He cared about making life better for everyone. One day, President Traoré announced that he would visit Ouagadougou to meet with business leaders. The city was excited. The mayor planned a big welcome. There would be music, dancing, and a special dinner. Kofi heard about the president's visit. He thought, "Why should I care about this president? I am richer than him. I have more power in this city than anyone else. If he wants my respect, he must earn it." Kofi decided to show everyone that he was the most important man in the city. He planned to host his own dinner for the president. He wanted it to be bigger and better than the mayor's dinner. Kofi moved quickly. He called his best workers and told them to prepare for a grand event. He sent invitations to all the important people in the city, businessmen, politicians, chiefs, and even famous musicians. He hired the best cooks to prepare delicious food, grilled fish, spicy chicken, jollof rice, sweet mangoes, and fresh bread. He decorated his house with gold cloth, flowers, and bright lights. He bought new clothes for himself and his family. He even hired a band to play music all night. On the night of the dinner, Kofi's house was shining. Expensive cars lined the street. Guests arrived in their best clothes. Everyone was talking about how rich and powerful Kofi was. When President Traoré arrived, Kofi greeted him with a big smile. But inside, he was thinking, "Let's see if you can impress me, Mr. President." Kofi led the president to the main table. He sat at the highest seat, above everyone else, even the president. He talked loudly about his business deals. He told stories about his travels and his money. He interrupted the president when he tried to speak. He made jokes about politicians and laughed at his own jokes. Some guests felt uncomfortable. They looked at the president to see how he would react. But President Traoré stayed calm. He smiled and listened. He did not get angry or upset. He answered Kofi's questions politely. He thanked Kofi for the dinner, but everyone could see that Kofi was trying to show that he was more important than the president. After the dinner, President Traoré asked to speak with Kofi alone. He said, "Kofi, you are a successful man. You have built a big business. What is your secret?" Kofi smiled proudly and said, "I work hard. I am smart. I do not let anyone stand in my way. That is how I became rich." The president nodded and asked, "What do you value most in life?" Kofi laughed and said, "Respect. Everyone respects me because I have money and power. Even you, Mr. President, are my guest tonight." President Traoré looked at Kofi and said, "Respect is not something you can buy. It is something you earn by how you treat others." Kofi waved his hand and said, "In this world, money is power. Power brings respect." President Traoré smiled and said, "Let us see if that is true." The next morning, Kofi woke up to bad news. His workers were on strike. They said he did not treat them well. His trucks were stopped at the border because of new rules. His shops were empty because people were angry about how he treated the president. Some of his business partners stopped working with him. Kofi tried to call his friends, but no one answered. He went to the market, but the vendors turned away. He visited the city leaders, but their doors were closed. For the first time, Kofi felt alone and powerless. He remembered the president's words, "Respect is not something you can buy. It is something you earn by how you treat others." Kofi stayed in his big house, thinking about what had happened. He realized that all his money and power could not help him now. He felt ashamed of how he had acted. He thought about his parents and how they had always treated people with kindness and respect, even when they were poor. Kofi decided to do something he had never done before. He put on simple clothes and walked to the president's office. He did not bring any gifts or money. He just wanted to say sorry. When he arrived, the guards were surprised to see him. They let him in. Kofi knelt before President Traoré and said, "Mr. President, I am sorry. I was proud and disrespectful. I thought money could buy respect, but I was wrong. Please forgive me." President Traoré looked at Kofi and said, "Kofi, true greatness is not about money or power. It is about humility and respect. You have learned a hard lesson. Now, use your gifts to help others, not just yourself." Kofi thanked the president and promised to change. He went back to his business and called his workers. He apologized to them and asked how he could make things better. He raised their salaries and gave them better working conditions. He started helping people in his community. He built schools and clinics. He gave scholarships to poor children. He listened to people's problems and tried to help. Slowly, people began to forgive Kofi. They saw that he had changed. He was no longer proud and arrogant. He treated everyone with respect, no matter if they were rich or poor. Kofi and President Traoré became friends. They worked together to make life better for everyone in Burkina Faso. Kofi used his business skills to help the government create jobs and build new roads. He spoke to young people about the importance of respect and humility. He told them his story so they would not make the same mistakes. People started to respect Kofi again, not because of his money, but because of his kindness and humility. This story became famous in Burkina Faso. Parents told it to their children. Teachers told it in schools. It became a lesson for everyone. Respect cannot be bought with money. It must be earned by how you treat others. Pride can destroy you, but humility can save you. Kofi's life changed forever because he learned this lesson. He became a better man, and his story inspired many others to do the same. So, the next time you think money can buy everything, remember the story of Kofi and President Traoré. Remember that true respect comes from the heart. It is given, not taken. And sometimes, the greatest power is not in money or position, but in humility and kindness. This is the lesson that Kofi learned, and it is a lesson for all of us. Thank you for listening to the story of Kofi and President Traoré. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more amazing African tales, please subscribe to this channel. Your support helps us share more stories that teach, inspire, and entertain. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family. What lesson did you learn from Kofi's journey? Tell us in the comments below. See you in the next story.